Hey, you guys, let's get into your energy read. Divine, what is the current energy of Pisces at this time? Okay, so first card coming out is Chained. So codependency, unhealthy attachment, as well as weighed down. And Divine, why is the energy of Chained coming out? Okay. So we have lipstick evidence, infidelity, caught cheating, as well as betrayal. Okay, so what I feel like with this particular energy is there was something that you probably felt that you couldn't do without. This could be involving an individual, but it's something that is seemingly toxic or is not good for you. I feel like this is something that you've found evidence about, or this is something that you've discovered about yourself. You've discovered that something that you have in your life is no longer benefiting you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And there's something about this that you need to let go. I feel like sometimes, when we do have people that we're involved with that we do love, this could be family, friends, romantic partners, and all of other things in between, we tend to have the tendency to stick around knowing that it's not good for us. I feel like that with lipstick evidence coming out, I feel like this is divine intervention. This may not have been the way that you wanted to figure something out, but you're figuring it out nonetheless. But I also feel like this is more so confirmation, for you, because I feel like you've had doubts about this. I feel like you've had an inclination about this. Your intuition also has probably told you that something is wrong with this situation. I feel like you are getting evidence about this situation and you are letting go of some sort of toxic way of being or some sort of toxic habit. Divine, can you clarify more, please? Yep, we have detective. So snooping, digging for dirt, as well as accusations. So I'm hearing something about confronting. So you possibly could have confronted somebody about something that you discovered about them. It sometimes it doesn't have to be involved with you, but it can be just a work situation. But I feel like you possibly are in a manner where you're getting ready to confront somebody. And then we have bye Felicia here at the bottom of the deck. So peacing out, thank you next, leaving, and not caring. So some of you all could have been in a situation where someone was cheating. Unfortunately. And like I said, this is something that you had an inclination about, but you are getting hardcore evidence. And honestly, I don't feel like you did any digging or snooping around, like going through the phone or things like that. I feel like something was revealed to you, something was made plain and obvious to you. Maybe this is the way I'm seeing it. Sometimes people link their phones to the TV and then you see messages come across. Maybe someone wasn't expecting this to happen. Maybe they walked off thinking that their phone, or not even aware that their phone was still attached to the TV or linked to the TV. And maybe you saw a message come through that gave you confirmation that something is up. Divine, can I have one more for this energy here? Okay, so we have loss, so ghosted, cowardice, as well as disappearing act. So there is a situation that I feel some of you are getting ready to ghost. Maybe you for I'm getting another channel. So I feel like some of you all aren't going to say anything. I feel like some of you all are literally going to get the evidence that you need concerning the situation that you've had an inclination about. And I feel like you're going to ghost the situation. A lot of people would say that's immature, but to know thyself and to know what you need to do in a particular situation versus putting your hands on somebody and hurting somebody, or putting you in a predicament that will cause you harm, you're leaving the situation without even saying a word. Divine, what other energies surround Pisces at this time? Okay, so we have an energy of harmony, so balance, peace, as well as happiness. I feel like this is coming in after the leaving. So not to say that a situation will be easy, but I do feel like in this season, things that used to affect you gravely or affect you in a manner where you will be out and down for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, it's not affecting you that way. It's almost like you are getting an instantaneous reprieve. I feel like healing is also very significant, but a lot of people will have you think that you need to go through many different stages in order to get better or feel well. This isn't one of those kind of situations. I feel like you've been through the ringer enough before to know what this feels like, and you leaving a situation at the drop of a dime is how you've healed yourself. That's healing taking effect for you, you know? I feel like you no longer stay in situations longer than you need to. If this was not a desired outcome for you, you're not accepting it. Divine, can you tell me about harmony, please? Okay, so SOS. So distress, act with urgency, as well as assistance needed. So once again, I feel like this is something that you're not even calling for help. You see a signal, or you see a sign for what it is, and I feel like you are taken to that sign very well. I feel like you are an intuitive individual. I feel like you are balanced on a spiritual level, in a spiritual plane. When you get your messages, you don't need the stone core hardcore evidence. You don't need that. I feel like you are trusting your gut, you're trusting your instincts, and your instincts are telling you to leave a situation. I feel like if that's what you feel you need to do, then do it without hesitation. It's something about having urgency, or not hesitating to do that. Divine, last few messages concerning harmony and SOS. Okay. Then we have squad. So reconciliation, soul tribe, as well as close friends. And why squad, Divine? Okay. So light bulb moment. So sudden realization, feeling inspired, as well as insightful awareness. So this goes two ways. I feel like you, in many situations, are seeing people for who they truly are. This time around, the difference is there is no hesitation with you securing and you protecting yourself. I do feel like there are individuals surrounding you, and this is just the energy that has been out for, the last past week or so. There's an energy of reconciliation, people recognizing what they've done. And just because people are recognizing what they've done does not mean that you are readily available to accept these individuals back. I feel like you walking away from a situation isn't even any form of karma. What it is teaching people lessons that you can't do people in any old kind of way. You can't treat people any old kind of way. You are not an option. You are a main selection. I feel like people need to be more aware of that. People go on thinking that they can treat people any old kind of way, and then they go off and they get in these other relationships, and then they end up getting treated like shit. So it's almost like it was good for the goose is good for the gander. And I'm a firm believer that you can't do people harm and then go off and think you're about to have your happy ending so easily. Life just doesn't work like that. You can have temporary satisfaction, but I can guarantee you, if you've been an awful, terrible individual, you are not about to run off into the sunset and get a happy ending. That's just my belief. Divine, what is the last energy that surrounds Pisces at this time? Okay, so we have an energy of extra. So dramatic, trying too hard, as well as starter. What I'm hearing is doing the most. Okay, that's an old phrase. Doing the most. So I feel like somebody is going to do the absolute most in order to get your attention. Because I do feel there is a fond separation here. I feel like you are not surrounded by individuals, if anyone, that you used to deal with before. Divine, clarify extra. Yeah, okay. So we have Mabu. So official status, exclusive relationship, seeing each other openly. So this is more so giving me an energy of love bombing. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like it has an ulterior motive, behind it. Because I feel like people are recognizing who you are, be it the key player. People thought that they were going to go off and have extra individuals, third parties, and things like that. But then they're realizing that in order to maintain the energy that you gave, they need multiple individuals in order to do that. Someone just doesn't quite measure up to who you were to them. Okay. And once again, this could be family, friends, romantic partners, all of those things. But someone doesn't measure up to the person that you were, and I feel like somebody is missing out on that. Divine, last few messages concerning extra and my boo. Yeah. So we have lust here. So I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. Okay. So an energy of lust here. So Somebody wants you, and then look at that. So love bombing here at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. So overly attentive, showered with affection, as well as for personal gain. Yeah. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like it's all for face value. It feels like it's just physical. Someone is just attracted to you and possibly what you can do. It doesn't have any deeper root or deeper meaning, behind it. Somebody is missing, that thing. Okay, and if you're grown, you know what that thing is. Somebody is literally missing you for that. Somebody just couldn't keep their pants zipped. And this is male or female, woman or man. Yeah, woman or man. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like somebody was doing a whole lot of extracurricular activities with chained and lipstick evidence. And then you have lust here. So lust is, generally when people are lusting, they can't control themselves sexually. So I feel like somebody is, maybe missing what you gave, because once again, it takes multiple individuals to do what you did. Divine, last one for me here. Okay. And then we have the cleanse. So detox, ridding negativity, as well as purification. At one point in time, this is so funny. You could have started holding out on this individual because you knew what was going up, or you had an inkling of what was going on, and holding out on this individual caused them to go out in a different direction. I feel like, if you're involved with somebody, all it takes is a conversation. All it takes is a conversation. But with the cleanse also coming in, you're removing yourself from this situation, and maybe limiting yourself in particular ways, and that does include sexually. This person is understanding what you truly meant to them and the value into which you really possess. And it was more than just physical for some of you all. But I do feel like with the cleanse coming out overall, you're just removing yourself out of any situation that does not profit you, that does not mean you any good, and honestly holds no relevance. Overall energy, divine, for everything. Okay. So we have frenemy. So fake friends, two-faced, as well as hidden intentions. For some of you all, it could be a friend, or it could just be a two-faced individual, period. I feel like somebody, didn't have the right motives or the right intentions when it comes to you, a theme that we've just been discussing throughout this reading here. But whoever these individuals are, I feel like you in every avenue are being recognized as a missed opportunity. This doesn't give an energy of people reaching out, because it's not directly saying that. It could be, but I feel like what it is as a whole, people are missing out on you because people tried to cast you out. They tried to degrade the value into which you brought into the relationship. So I feel like there is heavy regret, when it comes down to things like this, because you can only get away with something for so long. Divine, last one for frenemy here. Yeah. And then we have laughter. So wholeness, overjoyed, as well as smiling. So what I feel like for laughter is somebody is missing out on the good times. The good times, spiritually woke, self-awareness, cutting through illusions, detaching from ego. I feel like you as a whole have completely removed yourself out of situations. If these situations spoke adversely to the direction that you were going in, you remove them out of your energy. And honestly, this time around, it doesn't even give me a heavy vibe. I feel like once you detach from a situation, you felt better behind it. I don't feel like there was any heavy weight that was concerning you. I feel like at one point in time with Chained, there was something that you were attached to. But once you found out what that attachment was, you quickly, without hesitation, removed yourself from the situation, especially when you gain the evidence or the clarity into what you need to do in order to move forward. And you guessed right, okay? So it seems like right now you are a hot commodity. You have everybody coming out of the woodworks that you used to deal with. And I feel like it has a lot to do with where you're going and the direction that you're headed in. People see the growth, people see the attractiveness, and you're glowing. So obviously these people want to talk to you again. Do you want to know who these people are? Maybe you should check out our sponsor, Psychic Source, to get that figured out and sorted out. If you click the link down below in the description box using my unique code JMarian, you can get up to 40 minutes of clarity and insight for only $19.80. You won't break the bank. You'll get the clarity on who these people are and what you should do, even though you probably already know what to do. But clarity in any way, shape, form, or fashion is always necessary. If you are not satisfied with the insight that you receive from the advisor that you select, so you get a lot of options here. You get to choose what you want to say, and you also get to choose the advisor into which you talk to. But if you're not satisfied, you get a free reading. You get your money back. So no muss, no fuss. So you win all across the board. Details down below in the description box. And now, on to your reading. Divine, what do we need to know about the energies that surround us? Okay. So I can't show her because she's naked. So I'll show it like this. So we have the world. And then we have the Six of Swords. So essentially what the divine is saying, these cycles are over, With the Six of Swords, I always view the Six of Swords as a guided energy. This is something that you are guided to do. Your intuition has played a heavy role in where you are right now. You were guided to move forward and to end a cycle. This is something that you've turned your back from. Turned your back to, and you are now moving forward in a more progressive direction. I don't feel like this is anything that you need to revisit, because it's giving me a Nine of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. You're to venture off solo at this present moment. Like, a lot of people mishandled you and they didn't treat you properly. So I feel like what the divine is telling you, you need to discover the love from within and go with that and continue to cater to that, because in this moment there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of jealousy that is surrounding a lot of people. And a lot of people don't mean you any good because they have hidden motives and hidden intentions. No, I am not telling you to go on the rest of your life like this, but I feel like you need to be very selective and very careful about previous individuals that you used to deal with. I haven't, in my readings, I haven't seen anything about, new love, new friends, even though all of those things will eventually come. I feel like the focus right now in this moment is you. You are to worry about your own soul salvation and your own destiny and your own goals. You can't bring anybody else into that right now because you're to be focused at this time. Divine, what else with the world and the Six of Swords? We have the Nine of Pentacles that is coming out. So singular energies. Your focus right now is stability. I feel like in this moment with the Nine of Pentacles showing up, you are self-reliant, you are independent, you are a self-starter is also what I'm feeling here as well. Queen of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. You're being viewed also as very cutthroat. Like, you're very quick-witted and you cut something out very quickly. I don't feel like there was any hesitation on your part, and I feel like you were very direct, with this. Some of you all just left the situation and you ghosted it, in my opinion, which is fine. If that's what you feel like you need to do for your mental health, I don't feel like you need to clarify it with anybody, because if they had just as much boldness and courage to go off and do what they did in secrecy, if you wanted to move on with your life in secrecy or without a word, you have every right to do that. Divine, Nine of Pentacles concerning the Six of Swords and the world. We got two here. Okay, so we have the Empress, which is 3, and then we have the Three of Swords. Okay, I feel like somebody tried to in some way discourage you. I feel like you are that guy or you're that girl, and people tried to make you feel like, and then we have the Three of Cups. So people, tried to make you feel like maybe you weren't worthy, or maybe you aren't as abundant as you are, but there's a self-value and respect that you have with yourself that you are not letting anybody play with the Three of Swords. I don't feel like you're going to let anybody hurt your feelings. You're not going to let anybody hurt your heart. You're not going to let anybody play on your time. I feel like those are lessons that you've already learned and that you've already discovered. So 333 could be significant as well as just 33. Okay, so 339. So I feel like you are to worry about yourself in this moment. And the Empress here, yeah, I feel like self-care, self-love, self-value is a major thing because people try to play on your time. Divine, tell me about this Three of Swords. So Six of Pentacles, yeah, something wasn't given equally here. Interesting that we have another six direct split. Something wasn't even. Something was not even. I feel like people tried to play on your time. They tried to play on what they can give, because I feel like with the Three of Swords, they were giving in other spaces, but they weren't giving you much. I feel like you possibly were promised a lot of things, but nobody came through on them. It's actions speak louder than words. Talk less, do more. Divine Six of Pentacles. Okay. And we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, so 65. So 5 and 6 could be very significant. Yeah. I feel like somebody in some way is feeling very defeated in this moment, because I feel like there was an energy once again of desperation. Somebody wanted to have their cake and eat it too. And you don't play those games. I feel like you nip something right in the bud, because with the Three of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords, this is somebody who literally was out in other spaces doing other things, and I feel like immediately this is something that you cut off. I feel like you're worth so much more than what people tried to make your value seem like it was worth. Okay, Divine, last one for this energy, the Five of Swords here. Yeah, somebody was desperate, and Seven of Wands, and now they're blocked. I feel like this is an individual who can no longer see you. I'm also hearing this individual isn't on your level, and it has nothing to do with money or stability. It has to do with morals, is what I'm hearing. So morals, like this person doesn't match your energy. And on a physical level, they may be very attractive. They may have a few things, but it means nothing if you're a shitty person on the inside. So somebody didn't match your morals, and I feel like this is somebody that you have to remove out of your energy and that you had to block. 5, 6, 7 as a chronological synchronicity here. Divine, moving forward, three of Swords, moving forward, please. Yeah, somebody no longer can play with you. King of Pentacles coming out for the Three of Swords. Very grounded individual at this time. I'm hearing safe and secure. So I feel like you are safe and secure from all harm or all alarm. And with the King of Pentacles, you're showing up as very stable. I feel like you are standing on boundaries is what I'm hearing. You're standing on boundaries. Four of Pentacles. You're standing on boundaries, like for real. King of Pentacles moving forward, Divine. Okay, and we are the Hermit. Yeah, standing on boundaries, standing on exactly what you said. At this current moment, very solo journey. I feel like this is a moment for you to discover what you want. And it's not that you lacked what you wanted. Previously. I feel like you knew what you wanted, but I feel like what you want now more so probably is to be alone and not lonely, just to be left alone. If it's not worth investing your time in, you're not going to invest your time in. If it feels like it's a waste of time, you're not going. Divine, clarify the Hermit for me here. Seven of Pentacles. I feel like, yes, you are enhancing yourself right now is what I'm hearing. You're investing in yourself. King of Pentacles, yeah. With the King of Pentacles turning right back around, I feel like with what you used to give other individuals, that's what you're giving yourself. If people disrespected your love, whatever love that you were giving to them, you took it away and you gave it back to yourself. I feel like you gatekeep your love right now, which is definitely understandable. You gatekeep your love because I feel like people don't know or didn't know how to handle you. I feel like you invested a lot of things in other people, mostly in intangible versus tangible. But I feel like there was evidence of what you invested in versus what you were getting. Seven of Pentacles and the Hermit, Divine. Yeah, Page of Swords. I feel like you saw a lot of things. You are aware of a lot of things, but versus taking and taking from yourself. Five of Pentacles. You're taking it back. And you're leaving individuals where they are. You're leaving people out in the cold. You're no longer giving to those particular situations. Once again, there is also an energy of ghosting someone, but I feel like you're at this time being viewed as cold. We did see the Queen of Swords, but I feel like people need to take accountability, because there's a level of accountability here that I feel hasn't been recognized or somebody hasn't owned. So I feel like you are very careful about what you give to, because you've seen a lot of things, and with what you've discovered that is no longer worth you investing in. So you took back what you used to give and you given it to yourself. Divine, last few messages moving forward. Okay, Eight of Swords here. Yeah. So Eight of Swords, we have the Ten of Wands, and then we also have the Chariot. Yeah, I feel like you are almost there, with the Eight of Swords and the Ten of Wands, with the Chariot. You've gone through a lot of things, but I feel like you are not letting anything break you at this current moment. You're allowing things to be whatever they are. You're not trying to change anyone. You're not trying to sway anyone in any particular direction. You are just in a space where you're moving forward with your life without any hesitation. You're not a stranger to getting your things and going about your business with the Chariot, Ten of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. I feel like you recognize also sometimes the problem isn't sometimes it's not about other people, and it's more so about yourself, versus you turning, like, I don't feel like you're owning any blame, because there is no blame to be had for you on this end. I feel like you are no longer giving. Eight of Swords, Ten of Wands, with the Chariot, you're taking whatever you can get your hands on and you're going about your business. And you do this once again without hesitation. Something for you doesn't require a lot of thought, and I totally understand that as well. You get on your life and you move on about your business. Last few messages. We have the Ten of Swords. You end things very quickly. I feel like your judgments, concerning many different situations have been fair. I feel like, once again, not to say that you are a perfect individual, because maybe there were things at one moment in time that you've done, but you don't give me an individual who does like the whole backstabbing thing. I feel like you're pretty upfront about somebody. And when you're involved with someone, whether this is a friend, family, or partner, you're involved with them. If you do nothing, to say that it's going to be easy or there won't be conversations that will be had. But as far as doing something very nefarious or sneaking behind somebody's back and, shall we say, doing something as extensive as cheating, I don't feel like that's your vibe. Divine, tell me about the Ten of Swords. We have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah. So there was definitely an energy of juggling, There was definitely an energy of juggling. This was possibly involving other people, or somebody was just doing something nefarious. There are two faces, honestly. We even have the Two of Wands, the things that people were planning to do, all of those things. I feel like they have been unveiled because, once again, you have an intuition that I feel is unprecedented. And I feel like it is a treasure, especially in this time that we're living in. There's many different things that you are aware of. And with that awareness, you used it to your advantage. There was no hesitation. If you felt like you needed to separate yourself from a situation, you separated yourself from a situation. I feel like, the most interesting thing is, in these situations, you were good. Without these situations, you are good. Nine of Pentacles. You're a reliant individual, and at this moment, while you desire to have somebody else around, you don't need them around. Okay? Pisces Soul Tribe, that was your reading. Hopefully this message resonates with you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and you're able to take something from it that you could use. Of course, if there's anything you need from me, you can find those details down below in the description box. And that does include our sponsor, Psychic Source. Because who are these people? I feel like if you use the link down below in the description box, you can get that all figured out and squared away. And as always, my good people, remember to conquer this day, and I'll see you in the network. Bye, guys.